Today I'm reacting to top 10 anime nobody likes, which is from WatchMojo. Now the one problem I have in regards to WatchMojo is sometimes they be a little iffy when it comes to their anime list. Like I remember back in the day before we got what's old dude name that be doing the anime list? Ash. In regards to him, before we got Ash, apparently whoever edited these videos didn't really know what anime was. I mean, hell, there was a time where they were talking about Pokemon, and they posted a video of Digimon. Like, and I'm sure they probably ain't gonna never let these people live it down, but hey, it is what it is. But the anime top 10 lists have gotten better. But I'm a little intrigued on these top 10 anime that nobody likes, because you also have to remember that WatchMojo is based on votes. So with that being said, y'all make sure you give the video a like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my videos. Also, if you don't want to watch my reaction, you can go ahead and go in the description below. I put the original video link. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. And of course, enjoy and subscribe to WatchMojo.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down the anime that have long since become reviled the world over. Keep in mind, we're not saying we personally condemn these series, but there's no denying they've accumulated quite the negative view over the years. Number 10, Platinum End. When an anime fumbles...
See, okay, so we already off to a good start. Platinum End. First of all, I ain't gonna make this long. Platinum End, the reason why people had such high hopes for Platinum End was because Platinum End was also made by the same person who made Death Note. Well, not the anime, but the manga was the same person who's the author of Death Note. They also made Platinum's End, so it was like, well, since Death Note was such a banger, they feel like Platinum's End will do a good job too, but it looks like that was not the case. But let's hear the reason.
The ball so badly it has fans questioning whether the creator's previous masterpiece was a fluke. It's usually a bad sign.
Nah, I remember the plot. The plot of it was interesting.
You would think a dark, supernatural bloodbath filled with moral ambiguity would be a surefire win for the team who brought us Death Note. But alas, Platinum End doesn't so much soar as it crashes and burns with weak characters, an uninteresting conflict, and an ending so devastatingly stupid it boggles the mind it made it past the first draft.
The ending was bad? Oh, damn!
Number 9, Uzumaki.
What, people didn't like Uzumaki? Oh, damn. I thought people were okay with Uzumaki. I haven't really heard from social media or anything that people said Uzumaki was bad.
Ironic that the works of horror extraordinaire Junji Ito, famous for their portrayal of misfortune and terrible outcomes, has had every attempt at an anime adaptation meet a similar fate. And the worst of the bunch is sadly based on his most iconic title.
Damn.
While starting off with a surprisingly decent starter, behind-the-scenes debacles resulted in the following episodes suffering immensely in the animation department.
So it had something to do with behind the scenes. Okay, got it.
Falling well below par. Keep in mind this series was only 4 episodes long, and yet every second...
Oh, I can kind of see it too. I can kind of see the changes in the animation.
Can seem to be a struggle. Fans of the source material loathed it, and general anime fans ridiculed it, leaving Adult Swim with a serious amount of egg on their face.
Damn, Adult Swim?
Number 8, Redo of Healer.
If you know, you know. That's all I gotta say. If you know, you know.
Another day, another example of I can't believe it's not hentai.
俺の匂いをもっと染み込ませてやろう。
While we're always down to enjoy the vulgar
Immerse
exploits
further
of
in
a
my
smutty
stench.
anime, so long as it brings something entertaining to the table, Redo took things in a far more violent direction. Following the antics of a vengeful magic caster, he decides to get even with those who belittled, imprisoned, and tortured him by doing a lot of heinous stuff.
体を重ねたら思い出すかもしれない。いつものようにおねだりしてごらん。
What the
Let's
hell?
just say a lot of taboo content was thrown around, and it made a lot of watchers very uncomfortable. It still confuses many that this managed to get an adaptation.
何かすごく悪いこと考えてませんか、ギャルガ様。
This is indeed the furthest thing you'd expect to show up on TV. Harems? Yes. A Dungeons and Dragons Diddy party? Not.
This man said a Dungeons and Dragons Diddy party. Wow. Ash. Unhinged.
So much. Number 7, Dragon Ball GT.
Listen. So I come from the era of, when Dragon Ball GT aired, everybody like, more Dragon Ball, yay! But then they were like, why turn Goku back into a kid? Like, what was the point of turning Goku back into a kid? And in all honesty, I agree. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not the few who are like, no, Dragon Ball GT was pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? No. I thought it was ass. Like I did. Don't like a lot of people today will tell you that the best thing that came out of Dragon Ball GT was Super Saiyan 4. And of course, Nova Shinron. It's Super Saiyan 4 and Nova Shinron.
Wow, the room got a lot bigger somehow.
Time may have been kinder to GT, but for a long stretch, this was the worst thing to come out from under the Dragon Ball banner. It
Big
made
facts.
Goku a kid again, yet didn't have the sense of whimsy of the original. The battles and villains fell well short of Z, not to mention it didn't have any of the source material to follow. The result was an intergalactic adventure that never managed to reach the heights of its predecessors in any real aspect.
Now, laugh at this!
The most it's contributed to the canon is Super Saiyan 4, which is awesome, and Vegeta's mustache, which was not awesome.
I shaved my mustache, you idiot!
Number 6, Sword Art Online.
Now, I tried to watch Sword Art Online, but I could not do it. I could not get into Sword Art Online. Like I tried, and I know a lot of people like, oh yeah, just watch the first season, but don't try and touch the second season. That's what a lot of people will say about these animes. They're like, oh no, watch the first season, but don't touch that second season.
The meteoric rise in popularity of SAO meant there was going to be a lot of detractors.
この剣を抜くたびに心の中で私のことを思い出してね。
Some complained Kirito was a bland lead, living out a power fantasy, and the sprinklings of sexual violence got the series a lot of flack. As such, hating SAO became as much of a personality trait as being a fan of it, and the internet was rife with conflict. By the time Alicization came out, no one on that side of the argument was willing to give it a try, which is kind of a shame because that arc is genuinely very good.
キリト君も早く脱いでよ。私だけ恥ずかしいよ。
Number 5, Darling in the Franxx.
What?
We can appreciate what Studio Trigger were trying to do here.
君を味合わせて今から君が僕のダーリンだ。
Combining their talent for mecha anime with a story that tackles some pretty heavy
Now, mind
themes
you, I've
in
never
regards
seen
to
Darling
child
in the
soldiers,
Franxx,
trauma, and
but I
sexual
haven't heard any
repression.
negativity
While
from
there
it.
are moments where all these pieces coalesce, certain choices and the overarching plot prevented Zero Two and company from rising higher.
故に巨竜の姫がインプラントした場合には爆弾とガスコードを仕掛けた。
サイは投げられたのだ。
The love triangles were
I heard
painful,
something.
some of the characters acted so repulsively they started trending,
けど、
And the ending, yeah, let's just say it left a lot to be desired. Number 4, Promised Neverland Season 2.
Yeah, but the hate for this is justified. Apparently, to a lot of people who are hardcore manga fans of this show, that's like, dude, you skipped a very important part in the manga. Why would you do that? And I agree. I fucking agree. Like 100%. Like, I agree. Because apparently, this is what killed the Promised Neverland anime. Because I watched season 1. Season 1 was freaking amazing. But season 2, I didn't even bother touching it. Because I already saw the reviews and they were like, oh, you skipped a part in the manga. It was very crucial. It was very important to the story. So I was like, so ain't no point in me watching season 2 then. Okay, I'm just going to think that they got away. Or I could just read the manga, of course.
自由になろう
Had it been a self-contained season featuring a bunch of orphans fleeing their home and encountering the wider world of demons, this handful of episodes would have gone down as nothing more than a messy misfire.
ママたちにも人間の世界で家族を守ってほしいみんなをお願い
Unfortunately, it's also the sequel to one of the most intriguing and riveting anime to come out in the last decade, so anticipation was sky high for a sequel, and then everyone watched it and it all fell apart.
私鬼を殺したくない
Condensing so many volumes worth of story into so few episodes was a recipe for disaster from the get-go, but even those who weren't familiar with the source material could tell that the pacing and plot points were all over the place, all capped off by one of anime's biggest stinkers of a finale.
ただいまみんな
Number 3, Rent-A-Girlfriend. The real question we should be asking
I've
ourselves
been
is,
hearing
can we
stuff
really
about
imagine a world
Rent-A-Girlfriend.
without Rent-A-Girlfriend?
ダメだってマジで
Where would we be as a society if we didn't get to experience the breadth of one simp's journey as he struggles to somehow balance multiple love interests and still fail at life? Well,
Sounds
in
like
the
your
eyes of
average
many
everyday
viewers,
fucking
this
harem.
show is the worst thing to arise from the romantic comedy genre, courtesy of its protagonist being one big waste of life.
私サラシナルカは宣誓しますお二人の関係並びに水原千鶴さんのご職業については今後一切口外しないと和也君が私と付き合ってくれるなら
Well, the only thing it's good for is the innumerable meme material it produces. On the other hand, you have people who think the melodrama rules and the whole thing is just a good time. Not saying what side I'm on, but I will say that Mummy is my wife, and I will die for Mummy.
困るわ勝手なことされちゃ
Number 2, Oremo.
Once again, just say redo of Healer. If you know, you freaking know. This was disgusting. I haven't seen the anime. I've heard the plot about it, and I'm like, ew.
Somewhere buried deep underneath the layers of toxicity and incest, there's actually a decent anime here, with real charm and romantic tension between some of
Bro,
its
ain't
cast.
nobody watching
消せ
that.
てならないことを言うのねあなた
It's just a shame it chooses to focus on a violent brat in the closet about her otakuness, her long-suffering brother, and the telltale signs that they want to bump some serious uglies.
兄弟で恋人やってるそうですね
That's the premise. And come hell or high water, it's sticking to it no matter how many better alternatives present themselves along the way. It's almost hilarious how much more enjoyable the show would be if Kirino was removed from the equation.
私さ
Yes.
あんたの妹でよかった
This is
Before we
disgusting.
continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel
so
and
what is
ring the
number
bell
one?
to get
What
notified
is
about
number
our
one?
latest videos. You have the
I have
option
a-
to be
I have an
notified for
inkling on what I
occasional
think it
videos
could be.
or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Berserk.
It wasn't Berserk. I'll tell you what should have been on this list when this video's over. but it also
This
makes
could have
all the
been
sense in the world for
easiest slam
Berserk.
dunk of all time. Just follow the manga and ensure that the animation quality is at least semi-decent. That's all any fan could have asked for.
何を笑う。
絵に描いたような答えだな。修道院でお勉強したのか。昔戦場でそっくり同じこと言ってた貴族が女子供ごと町一つ丸焼きにしたぜ。俺が言ってんのはそんな中身すっからかんの置物みてえなクソの役にも立ちゃしねえ神様のことじゃねえよ。
And yet, it failed so spectacularly, we haven't seen a follow-up to this legendary dark fantasy since, which is nuts when you consider how enduring and beloved it is to this day. That's just how terrible the visual quality was. An absolute bastardization that paled in comparison to the hand-drawn splendor of the 90s version. We still hear the clanging in our nightmares. Which of these anime do you
want
think
us to
deserve
hear
the
it.
hate?
It was a good list. One anime in particular, I'm surprised because it looks like they're also talking about like specific seasons because they did it for Promised Neverland. A lot of people are gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't talk about that. Season 2 of Black Butler with Claude and Alois Trancy. I have heard a lot of people say that they can't stand it. They can't stand it to the point where they act like it never existed. That is my main gripe. It's the fact that everybody's acting like that did not exist. That's just a fever dream. Or Vampire Knight because of the fucking plot. So I'm surprised Vampire Knight ain't on here, and I'm surprised freaking Black Butler season 2 ain't on here with Claude and Alois Trancy. Like I'm shocked that Black Butler season 2 and Vampire Knight are not on this list because people can't stand Vampire Knight because of the plot. The plot is weird. Just think of Orimo, but with more relatives. That's all I'm saying. Just think of Orimo, but with more relatives for Vampire Knight. And apparently people said that season 2 of Black Butler was so freaking bad that they would rather erase it out of their memories. They don't even want to remember that anime. And they were like, no, that didn't exist. Book of Circus is our Black Butler season 2. Because, you know, Black Butler is continuing with the manga. And since Black Butler is continuing with the manga, you know, the anime is following the manga for Black Butler. But the Alois Trancy and the Claude thing, people want to forget it. People want to forget it. The only positive I can give season 2 of Black Butler was that fire ass opening. Shiver by the Gazette, fucking beautiful. But with that being said, y'all, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. You guys will be seeing my videos. Guys, make sure to go subscribe to WatchMojo.com. And of course, like I said, if you don't want to see my reaction to the original videos, in the description. So with that being said, my name is GTisTheName. Why in the hell do you think I am? You guys make sure to do it. Make sure happens what you're here for. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And I'm out. Peace.